Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that we linked with a summer transfer and move to Arsenal. We are live today, brought to you in association with Wont, the excellent football app. If you want to download that app, I've got it, right? And I use it regularly on the show. As you can see here, here's my phone. I was looking at it this morning, getting some information for the show today. The link is in the description. Just check it out below. But it's a really, really cool app, Wont. Now, in looking on the app today and looking all around the net, the big news is all about Arsene Wenger coming out pretty bullishly and saying that Alexis Sanchez is going nowhere. That's what he said. Alexis Sanchez is going nowhere. And as you know, we've been on tour with Arsenal over in Australia, over in China, speaking to the Arsenal officials. They're all going, Alexis Sanchez is going nowhere. I was on the plane coming back yesterday, and I was on the same plane with John Cross from The Mirror. He's a correspondent for The Mirror, their chief football writer. And he said to me, he goes, Robbie, they're saying he's going nowhere, but you know what? I don't know. He's going, I think he'll go. He goes, how can they refuse if they get big offers coming in from Manchester City or coming in from PSG for him? How will they be able to refuse this sort of money? It just doesn't make sense. But this is what Arsene Wenger is saying. As I said, asked about it again yesterday, very strong. He come out and he said, PSG, forget it. We're not going to sell Alexis Sanchez to PSG, because the journalist that was asking the question was saying, all right, fair enough. You're saying you're not going to sell him to Manchester City, but what about PSG? And Wenger said, we're not selling him to PSG. And he's even saying that, a lot of his talk about Neymar and stuff like that is because PSG realised that they can't get Alexis. So who do we believe in this? I mean, I would love to know what's going to happen. I really want to think that Alexis Sanchez is going to stay, but I don't know. And what do you guys think? Do you think that he will still be an Arsenal player? Because certainly if we can keep hold of him, we're going to have a really strong team. Now, there were all the rumours about him being over in Paris. We don't know if that is true. There's other rumours saying that he wasn't in Paris. I mean, again, Arsene Wenger saying that a lot of this is all nonsense and that we're going to keep hold of him. I'm going to read you some quotes in a minute, right, that I've got here from previous targets that Arsene Wenger has said we're going to keep hold of, so that we can start thinking to ourselves whether it's going to be genuine or not. But just before I do that, a couple of the other links. Wenger was also asked about Olivier Giroud. Now, he said that Giroud going nowhere as well. He said Giroud's a very important player for Arsenal. We've got no intentions of selling him. You heard last week that Marseille have now called on it and they're not interested. Everton, they seem to be going after other targets. So it does look like Olivier Giroud will be staying at Arsenal, which, starts to give us a pretty good forward attack with him being another option to Lacazette. Also asked about oxlade-chamberlain. Chelsea being linked with a move to Chamberlain today. Again, Arsene Wenger saying he's not going anywhere. Oxlade-Chamberlain, we are going to keep him. It's all great talk, all great talk. And also today been linked with quite a lot of outlets linking us with a move for William Carvalho, another player that we've been linked to for a very long time. Said that Arsenal very interested in bringing him in. I wouldn't be against this. I think as a defensive midfielder, we still need strengthening in that area. Rumours going around that Arsenal are talking to Carvalho and would like to bring him in at the club. Certainly, we are after more signings at the club. Ivan Gazidis the other day was talking to a couple of the Arsenal fans over there in China, and he said that, listen, we're looking to buy more players, but we also got to sell a few players because, we need to get some money in before we can go and get these players. So, again, I'm a little bit worried about that because, we've heard a lot of that before. But that's what he said. There's players that we need to get rid of. And we know who those players are. And I'm sure Arsenal are going to move, guys like Lucas Perez and people like that on. But the main one we want to know what is happening about is Alexis Sanchez. And again, as I'm asking you guys, what do you think? Do you think when Arsene Wenger's saying this stuff, are you sort of the thought that, you know what, I'm really happy with what Arsene Wenger's saying here, and he will be staying? Let me just read you whilst you decide, yeah, let me just read you a few of the quotes that Arsene Wenger has made on previous players that have been linked with a move away, right? So we're going to go right back, first of all, right, to June 2007, right? Thierry Henry was being linked with a move to Barcelona. This is what Arsene Wenger said. Thierry Henry will be here next year. I can guarantee that. Yes, of course. On June the 25th, he was sold to Barcelona for £16 million. There's another one. Emmanuel Adebayor, July the 3rd, 2009. This is what Arsene Wenger said. If Adebayor does not want to stay, he will leave. But I think he will still be at Arsenal this season. July the 18th, sold to Manchester City for £25 million. Here's another one. Samir Nasri. On July the 11th, 2011, these were the quotes from Arsene Wenger. Samir's situation is clear. He stays. We are in a position where we can say no, and we will. Does that sound familiar? It sounds very familiar to what he's saying at the moment about Alexis Sanchez. Sold, right? August the 24th, sold to Manchester City for £24 million. Cesc Fabregas, July the 12th, 2011. I will be clear, said Arsene Wenger, about this. Fabregas is with Arsenal for a long time and he will stay with Arsenal. August the 15th, sold to Barcelona for £35 million. And finally, the one that you all know about this one, Robin van Persie. March the 8th, 2012, Arsene Wenger said, our plan is to keep Van Persie. Robin is our lead. Robin is the leader of our club. He is under contract until 2013. August the 17th, sold to Manchester United for £22 million. And the rest is history. Now, with all that in mind, right, can we believe Arsene Wenger when he's saying that Alexis Sanchez will not be sold to Manchester City, will not be sold to PSG? I don't care what the money is. Can we believe him? When you go by those quotes, and that's a lot of evidence there, how can you believe him? You know, how can you believe him? I want to believe him, and I want to believe that Arsenal this time are really going to, you know, dig their heels in and, you know, just say that he's not going anywhere. But based off of that, Thierry Henry, Adebayor, Nasri, Fabregas, Van Persie, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players where he said similar things. How can we believe that we are going to hang on to Alexis Sanchez? And that is what, I don't know, that's what I'd really like to know. Let me see what you guys are saying. Rowan says no, we can't believe him. He said we can't believe him. Signals 927 says believe Arsene Wenger. No, no, no. Andre White, pretty harsh here, I think. He said Wenger is a liar. Now Wenger's not a liar. I'm sure he's not lying. But listen, it's just whether they're going to stick to what they say this time. Sharija Shawan says we need to sell Alexis and invest in Lamar, who is the future. Now, to me, Thomas Lamar is a great prospect, but he is not Alexis Sanchez. Sorry, we need to be holding on. Got to hold on to our best players. Simple, simple. Benjamin K said it's happened too many times. Listy Johnny says give him one more chance. So maybe he's saying that he thinks on this occasion Wenger will be telling the truth. Forever Guna says Wenger can't control his players. They do what they want. Now, obviously, that's the thing about this, is the fact that Arsene Wenger can dig his heels in, the board can dig their heels in. But as we've seen recently over in Southampton, Virgil van Dijk didn't get his move to Liverpool. All of a sudden, he's thrown the toys out of the pram, and he's saying now that basically he's not training. He's gone on strike, basically. Now, all the reports are that Alexis Sanchez will not go on strike. Alexis Sanchez will be professional. He will continue to play for Arsenal. But I'm just saying this, that if during this transfer window that finishes on August the 31st, so we've still got like literally a month left, if PSG come in and say to Arsenal, Here's 50, 60 million pounds for a guy that's only got less than a year left on his contract, who can walk away in January. Well, in January, he can sign a deal with PSG for nothing, no transfer fee, right? How can Arsenal turn that down? Should they, as that last guy said, take the money and reinvest in a Lamar or reinvest in somebody else? But then 50 million is not even going to get you Lamar. You know, you're going to, you know, and if that 50 million comes into the club, Monaco will know and realise that, and they'll want more money for Lamar as well. It's a really, really tough situation. Hexm HD says we need to keep Alexis Sanchez at all costs. He also says, why are we not getting Renato Sanchez? Of course, Renato Sanchez available at the moment, but doesn't seem like Arsenal seem to be in the, you know, shout for him. Andrew Foster says, Shaqiri from Stoke, Robbie, what do you think? Nah, that's what I think. I think he's a good player, but he's like what I call a highlight reel player that, you know, he plays well one week and then he goes missing for the next 4. Not the sort of player that I'd want to see turning up at Arsenal. Infernal Gaming says, we have to keep Alexis. He is our motivation and hunger we desire. The Machine 111 says, Ozil's staying at least. I think Ozil's definitely staying, as I've been reporting for a couple of weeks now. What about Rafinha, says somebody. Of course, Rafinha has been linked over the past couple of days. I don't know with Rafinha. He's okay, he's good, but I want better than Rafinha at Arsenal. For me, you know, again, it's a guy that you're going to buy hoping that he'll be, you know, become that player. You've got guys like Alexis Sanchez, they're world class already. Rafinha is not as good as him for my standings. Alf Chocriopek says 50 million and Lucas Moura for Alexis would be a great deal. That ain't sounding too bad. That's not bad, actually. Lucas Moura, maybe Alexis plus player deal. So yeah, like you said, Lucas Moura or Rabiot or somebody. But then even then, I'm sorry, man, Alexis Sanchez is world class. Those guys just don't stand up to him. Jono CN says we should get money plus Matuidi for Sanchez. Again, Matuidi would be a good player. Different type of player, box-to-box midfielder, would be great in that midfielder, very similar to like a Kante. But he's 30-odd years old now. No, I'd still rather us keep hold of, keep hold of Sanchez. Darcy Drain says, why don't we get Naby Keita? Now, Keita of RB Leipzig. We might see him in action this weekend in the Emirates Cup, which Arsenal are playing. RB Leipzig, one of the teams we're up against. Liverpool have been after him, said to have bid up towards £67 million, and that's been refused by RB Leipzig. I've not seen enough of Naby Keita, only highlights to know if he's really worth that sort of money, but certainly that's a lot of money for Keita. I don't know. Mabrashi's 2406 says Draxler and 50 million. That's a good deal, since Wenger loves Draxler. Wenger loved Draxler so much that he had chances to sign him and didn't sign him. Luke says, we've missed so many Sanchez replacements. Douglas Costa, James Rodriguez, Bernardo Silva. That's very true. If we were going to get rid of Sanchez, and that's one of the things that Wenger and Gazidis and those guys are looking at. They're like, how do we replace this guy? Is there a guy out there, if we got that money, we could go and replace him? Those guys there mentioned could have been guys that could have, you know, I still don't think they're as good. Well, they're not as good as Alexis, but they could have gone some way to replacing him, but they're all gone. He's right there. Tishiomio says, let's get Draxler. A lot of you suggesting Marcus Royce as a replacement. Tejas Bensal saying we could get Maris for that money. Swap Sanchez for Di Maria. Somebody's suggesting there. I don't think they'd be up for doing that. There's people mentioning swap deals for Verratti. That's not going to happen. Lucas Moura is what a lot of you guys are saying. You know, why not swap him for? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this situation. Keep those comments coming in. Thanks for watching the show today. It's been a live AFTV Transfer Daily. We're going to do another one live this week. It's been amazing how many of you have been watching this live. Absolutely brilliant. It's good to be back in the UK. Sorry that we didn't do a Transfer Daily yesterday. We spent the whole day traveling, literally 18 hours worth of travel to get back from China via Dubai to get back to the UK. But it's good to be back. Transfer Daily back right here. We'll be bringing it to you hopefully at a normal sort of times. It was a really challenging, particularly in China, to bring you Transfer Daily because anybody who will go to China will know that there's no YouTube in China. There's no Facebook. There's no nothing like that. No Twitter. They have their own versions, and basically, you know, you can't. It's very difficult to upload to YouTube. We did find a way around it, which we're going to keep secret, right? Because we want to go back to China. So we found a way around it, but it did mean that it did take quite a long time sometimes. So sometimes the shows, well, a lot of times we got the shows up really early. Sometimes it was a little bit more challenging, but we did manage to get it done. You know how we do. So it's good to be back in the UK. Brilliant internet once again. And we'll be back tomorrow with another AFTV Transfer Daily. But what do you guys think? Is he going to stay? Is what Arsene Wenger saying that this Neymar thing, them going after Neymar because they know they can't get Alexis? Leave it in the comments below. I'm just hoping and praying that we get some news soon that Alexis Sanchez will be staying at Arsenal Football Club.